right now to Mike in Tampa, and he joins us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. Your turn. How are you today, pal? Okay?
Hey, Chris, how you doing today?
All right, Michael. Nice to have you aboard, pal. What's on your mind?
Good. Let me throw a scenario at you. What do you think if the Giants will be interested in trading that second pick to the Browns for their fourth pick, and the Browns could give up their two number twos in the second round? Do you think it'd be worth it for them to give? And
then the Browns can take the running back and the quarterback.
Right. They could take Allen or Barkley first, and then take or vice versa, and then the Giants could probably either get their quarterback.
Well, why wouldn't the Giants want Barkley at 2?
I'm not sure.
Because if you do that, you can't draft Barkley. Why wouldn't the Giants want to take Barkley?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they had their mind on a quarterback, which I'm not sure they do, if they drop the 4, they could still rebuild and get those.
I don't think the Giants are getting a. Let's put the quarterback out of the realm for the Giants. I don't think they're going to take one. So if you feel the Giants are not going to take a quarterback, then you would like to think would probably take Barkley or Chubb. Now, the only way that would work for the Giants is if they felt that Chubb was a better pick than Barkley, and they'd have him there at number 4.
Now, let me ask you a scenario. If the Browns take Allen, and then the Giants take Barkley, Jets take Mayfield, number 4, do you think the Browns take Chubb, or you think they go someplace else?
I think if the Barkley's gone and the other quarterback, I think the Browns would take Chubb. I don't think the Browns are trading these 2 picks. I think if we get to that scenario where they can't take Barkley with the quarterback, I do think the Browns would take Chubb and put him on the defensive side of the ball, and put him there with. I'm
on the draft, you've got me kind of intrigued here. The reason why I don't think Cleveland needs to or will take Barkley, number 1, is because this running back class is very deep, and they have, I believe, 2 or 3 picks in the second round as well. So I understand he's far and away better than the rest, but they could still get a very, very good back.
I think you're probably right, and they're gonna bring up the kid from Toledo who's on the Hunt, who's on the Chiefs, who led the league in rushing, which is really absurd. I mean, to sit there and say that he's a great running back where he didn't do anything for the 2/3 of the season. He had a good start and a decent finish. My God, I mean, and they got him late out of Toledo. I don't buy that one so much. I think that I know there are a lot of running backs. We all know that you can find running backs anywhere. But remember, Gurley was a big pick early. Ezekiel Elliott was a big pick early. Fournette was a big pick early. And nobody's going to sit there and argue that those 3 guys aren't great running backs.
That's correct. That's correct. Real quick, I wanted to comment on what you were saying earlier in your monologue about Embiid. Right. Now, I don't expect you to remember this phone call, but before the 2014 draft, I called in and you and I were kind of debating on who we thought should be the number 1 pick, and I was banging on the table for Embiid to go number 1 overall. And your argument against that was the fact that he couldn't finish a full college season, which now seems like you were accurate there. But kind of after having a chance to see what Embiid is capable of doing, do you still feel the same way?
No, I'm wrong. You're right. I'm wrong. Embiid was now listen. He hasn't played that much, but he didn't play a whole year. And he is. You wonder about his health. But he is worth the gamble there with, as it turns out, you got him at number 3, but he would have been worth the gamble at number 1. I love his energy. He's a good defensive player. He can shoot threes. He's a good offensive player. He's got pep. He's got a lot of effervescence to his game. Embiid is a great player. So I'm wrong on that. Nothing surprising. And you were 100% right. I should have taken him. They made the right decision where they drafted him. Craig is in New York, and he joins us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Craig, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
Good afternoon, Doggy. How are you?
Hello, Craig. I'm doing well. Thank you. What's up now?
First of all, I hope if you heard it this morning, the RSVP that you RSVP'd yourself to Falcon 3 on June 2nd. So that we hope you make it there.
I know that was that announced today, June 2nd. So they announced that today, June 2nd. Another reason why I can't do that commencement address there, Lawrence Klein, at Falcon. That is Evan Cohen and Mike Babchek with 45 Sirius XM employers down at what bar are they going to do it at this year? Anybody know?
It hasn't been confirmed.
Hasn't been. They got to find one that's going to give the booze for free. I know the bar last year was not impressed, so they found a different one. But you are going to go, Craig, I'm assuming?
I will be there. I mean, I always be wanted there, but I will definitely be there, myself and my wife. But back to a couple of things. First of all, if you're a sports fan out there, like if you're a real sports fan, the only game that should be on your TV tonight is Game 7 with the Maple Leafs.
No, I completely agree.
Anything about
well, I mean, you got to put the Cavs in there too, because it's 2-2 Game 5, and that's significant. Toronto, you're right. Oklahoma City, you're right. There's no baseball you need. You're correct. You're 100% right overall. That is the game to see, no question about it. Game 7 in Boston. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was definitely one point. And then with the 76ers, is just what you were talking about at the beginning. You know, they definitely looked strong. They had a great round against the Heat. You could see the Heat just got frustrated. They just could not keep up with them. But where my fear with the 76ers is going forward with the rest of the conference is that, especially if they get a team like Washington with John Wall, or if they get the Cavs with LeBron, you're going to see both of them just take it straight at Embiid to the point where it's just to try to get him in foul trouble and get him off the court. And if you keep him off the court and foul trouble for a significant amount of time, you know, they should be able to beat the 76ers in the long run. Ben Simmons is a great player, but you need him, you need Embiid, you need all of them on the court at the same time. You take one out, it's not going to be the same team.
I understand where you're coming from. You have to have them on the court at the same time. I do think, though, Craig, that Philadelphia's got a hell of a shot here. The Celtics are a little banged up, working awfully hard to beat the Bucks. I think they got a shot. Here's Art in California, and he's with us. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Artie, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me?
I'll tell you what. The Sixers are good, but the Celtics, if they had Kyrie, they beat the Sixers.
Oh, they sure would.
They're only going to get to the. We're going to get. Forget about. They don't even mention Hayward. Okay, that's another All-Star. They forgot about him.
Right.
So let's not get too high on the Sixers. All right.
Well, the Sixers are. I'll tell you right now, though, Art. The Sixers have Simmons, who's one of these transcendent players. Embiid is excellent.
Yeah, and the Celtics have. Listen who the Celtics have next year: Kyrie, Hayward, Tatum gets experience, Brown, and they got Sacramento's pick. The Celtics and the Sixers. The NBA is set with this for the next few years.
You can make that argument. My overall point, though, 2 points. I think Philadelphia could easily beat them this year, and I think that
there's no doubt about it. The Celtics would have been in the finals with.
You're right. You're right.
People are getting way too happy about this. You know, don't forget, you got a guy in Game 7 with the biggest shot in the history of the Cavs. Okay. Levant's pretty good sidekick, pretty good Robin.
You're right, okay? No question.
40.
But I think you'd agree.
Too high on the Sixers.
I think you'd agree, Art, that Embiid and Simmons are going to win some championships.
I'm not saying that. But the Celtics are going to be there too. They're set for years. And for the 25 and under, who doesn't know anything about Celtics Sixers, you just go on YouTube tonight. 81 Eastern Conference Final, the best series you will ever see. Okay. For the 25 and under league. Oh,
I know. I mean, seventh game, 91-90. Yeah, we know, Artie, you're on top of it. 91-90, Game 7. Cheeks missed the free throws. We go through that 1,000 times. And you're right. The Celtics are going to be very dangerous and great. They got a lot of players. I mean, we Horford with Brown, with obviously Hayward and Kyrie and Jason Tatum, and that's a Rozier off the bench. I mean, that is a hell of a 6 or 7 guys. Marcus Smart, that is going to be a very, very good team. And Philadelphia, Boston will have some interesting matchups. 1,000% correct. Ryan is in South Carolina, and he's aboard. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Ryan, good afternoon. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Dog. Hope all is well. Listen, I got 3 quick points. The first one, it sounds like you're being baited into this whole WFAN dispute. It's almost as if they're using you for attention to themselves.
I think there's some truth to that. I think there's some truth to that. I think there is some truth. I think that I probably maybe should lay low. But since we started it there on the on the high heat thing, which I still swear to God was an innocuous scenario. We have been drawn into it. So from that standpoint, I'm going to have to live with it. But you're right. I didn't even want to go near it today. I was well aware that they were killing us there at 2 when we started, but I did not want to go near it today. Eric brought it up, and I don't know what I have to respond in some capacity. That's for sure. Go ahead.
No, listen, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think you're in a tough spot one way or the other. You don't say anything, then the idiots out there will scream they won. And if you do, you're being baited into a dispute with some irrelevant people, as far as I'm concerned. And by the way, I agree with you. I never heard you once bash the young lady there. I always heard you say that you supported her and that you. Yeah,
out of line. That's not fair. I mean, listen, I'll be the first to tell you that. That's not fair. I have never, ever said anything negative. Now, the show and Bart, yes. And yes, but if that's how she wants to do it, specifically as the group. But Maggie, not a peep of negativity. I said it was a good hire. She'd do a good job. She's peppy. I knew her because she did do the interview last year at SI. I went down there to do it, down in Lower Manhattan. Never once did I ever say anything but positive stuff about Maggie Gray. That's not fair. Now, she wants to support her team because I'm taking shots at the team, or I can understand that. But hers individually, that's not the case. Go ahead. Next.
Second point, NBA real quick, then I'll hit the draft. So I actually had to stay up till 1 o'clock this morning to prepare for court today, and I watched Golden State play last night. Dog, I still think they're the dog to beat. I don't think Houston can play the defense they're going to need to play for 6-7 games if it even went that far. It's hard enough to stop 2 good scorers in the NBA. The Golden State has 3.5. I just don't see how the Western Conference can shape up any other way than we thought it would all season. Although I do agree with you, I think New Orleans with that lineup. I'm with you. I'm old school. When you can get a 7-footer who can play with his back to the basket, and then you add the element of him stepping out from the basket, makes it a little bit more difficult. And then third, dog, I agree 100%. I can't remember if Rizzo or Danielson said it yesterday, but I think the Giants are trying to bait Cleveland into taking Darnold so that they can squeeze Barkley out of it. Otherwise, I think their alternative there is to trade out, and I think Nelson's the second best player in the draft. Although I'm a Notre Dame fan, I sound biased. I think he's the second best player in the draft, and I think the Giants, if they can swing it, would like to take him. Thanks for taking the call, Joe.
Ryan, good call. I think that's what the Giants can do. I have nobody telling me this. That's what I think. 13 in front of the hour. We continue here on Mad